Today we're going to talk about how to get extra local PPC campaign profits for a PPC campaign you're running for a plumber, local brick and mortar shop, any kind of local service, or selling products locally. There's 5 very well-known tips that we know at our PPC agency that we use on basically every campaign that we're trying to run here when we are offering our guaranteed PPC service to our clients, in which if you bolt that onto your company and your local PPC campaigns that you're running for your business, you should have turnkey extra profits from what you're doing on top of what you're already doing. Or if you're unable to get the PPC Google search ads and Bing search ads working for your company, which is what this is specifically tailored to here, then you should be able to certainly get it to work, because these 5 things are things that most people don't know about and give you an edge. So 5 different distinct ways to get an edge on your competition, get your PPC to work, and or just make more money on your PPC campaigns. So with all that said, if you aren't getting search ads to work in your market, there's no reason why you shouldn't, because it all comes down to you beating your competition as long as there's demand for your product or service on Google search, on Bing search in your market. In other words, if you go ahead and search for what you have, there's 4 ads there on the top of Google. Those people you see there are making money and you're not, and there's no reason why you can't beat there, because all you have to do fundamentally is have a better ad than them and a better landing page than them. Assuming all else is equal, you offer a similar product or service in terms of the quality and the price and the perceived value of it. You can have your ad there and bring in another few $100,000, if not a few extra $1 million in sales profitably from the channel, from the medium. It all comes down to having your ad click-through rate higher than your other people that are already there, and to have your landing page have a higher conversion rate than the other people that are already there. And of course, you have to have your conversion tracking dialed in to know if you got better results than what the average person's getting, if you will. You can go ahead and research what a typical conversion rate is in your market, because those stats are readily available. WordStream is one that has that information. Same thing with the click-through rate side. You want to compare your ad and your landing page side by side with the campaigns that are there. And if you don't think you have something that's at least twice as good as what you see there, then you just simply go to work and you get it. If you do those things, you're basically guaranteed to have another profitable revenue channel for your business. Beyond that, or in addition to that, there's some other, pitfalls, gotcha type of things that people who run local campaigns, typically don't know about, and that we know because we run dozens and dozens of these local campaigns at any given time. So I'm going to go through what those things are additionally, so you can make some extra money from your campaigns, and some stuff that's readily be able to be done by anybody, including yourself, if you want to go ahead and do it and make some extra money. So I'll get right into the content. The 5 things for extra local PPC campaign profits are as follows. The first one you want to do is eliminate anything with the word USA in the search terms report, as well as eliminating Indian or India-based search traffic that you're getting currently through your campaigns that you don't want. So what that means is, if you're unaware of what the search terms report is, search terms report is a report inside Google Ads, also through Bing Ads. This all applies equally as it does to Google as it does to Bing, which you should be running both. If you can get an campaign profitable on Google, it will be profitable on Bing. That's never not the case for what we're doing with our clients here. Not even one time has that ever been the case for a local business specifically, and basically for national campaigns as well. But anyway, as it pertains to the search terms report, the search terms report gives you a list of all the things people physically typed in before they clicked on your ad. People get confused, the differences between keywords and search terms. Keywords are what you bid on. Search terms are what people actually physically typed in, given that your keywords don't actually just have your ads don't just show up for what is listed in your list of keywords that you're bidding on. It shows up for those plus, close derivatives basically. And how close it is based upon the match types that you're using, exact phrase or broad keyword match types. The search terms They give you a report there so you can see what you're paying for, and you can add negative keywords to block out searches that you don't want, triggering your ads and wasting your money. One thing you'll find in there for most of you guys, not all to a great degree, but quite a few of you guys, if you go in there into your search terms report and then you click the filter button and then you type in search term, and then from there you drop down, you put in USA, you'll notice a bunch of these clicks that you're paying for are like plumbers in USA, or if you're a local foundation repair company, foundation repair companies in USA. And I can only speculate why this is per se, because I have no proof of this. But basically, I think there's a lot of lead generation bots that people are running specifically in foreign countries in Asia and so forth, that are looking to sell SEO services or whatever to these local companies, because it's easy to sell a marketing service to a local company than it is to a national company, given that they're more novice people, they don't have as big a budgets. It's more appealing saying we can get you on Google only for $100 a month anyway, that they run these so-called scraper bots that Google a bunch of random terms on Google, and then the ads that are there, they scrape the ad, the ad says, who it is, the landing page, put it into a database file, and then they go and send mass spam email out to all of them. Maybe they'll go through the forms and try to spam the form. Maybe if there's an email on the page, they'll spam the email. Maybe they'll call and send the number to a call center, whatever. And these bots are always running because they have like literal call centers that are just people calling over and over again. And I'm sure you guys are shaking your head here already, because if you're a local business owner, you're getting 3, 4, 5 of these calls a week already. Tons of emails offering this shit. It irritates everybody. And but even worse, they're eating up your ad budget at the same time doing it. So anyway, to prevent these so-called bots or scrapers from clicking on your ads and wasting your money, you simply, as you are filtering your search terms down, and you'll go live in the time frame, go to all time, and then through the filter, search term equals contains USA. Select all the search terms that pop up there, and then add them all as negative keywords to all campaigns in your account. And that'll block most of that behavior from occurring. Because for whatever reason, it seems like they always use the word in USA, or at least a lot, to where it's like sometimes it'll be 50% of the clicks that we're paying for have the word USA somewhere in it. And that's why I bring it up here specifically on this video, even though this seems like a really weird thing to bring up in such a video. It's such a big problem now that I am bringing it up. So, and it's something you can do in 5 minutes and get maybe potentially another 20% more, or 30, 40, 50%, depending on what you're doing, what market you're in, more leads for your money. In addition to that, India. The bots are clicking, these search scraper bots are a lot of times just coming from India in general. So what I always suggest to everybody, we do it on every single campaign we run, regardless of what it is. Add India as a negative location in every single campaign. People, they all obviously also get confused by this, and rightly so, that they think if they're targeting Phoenix and they want people in Phoenix, if they just target people in Phoenix, they're good. But reality is, if they also don't mark down in terms of the advanced location settings inside Google, you don't put people in my targeted location, not targeting people in my location or searching for my location. If you have that second one, in or for my local location, you'll get people outside your targeted area able to search and find your ad and click on it, and then you start getting these bots. So you want to have just in my targeted location for your local campaigns, okay, particularly because you'll get a lot of that spam that way as well. But in addition, while you're in there, add India as a negative location on top of it. Even if you mark the advanced location settings, I only want people in my targeted area, because you'll still get a trickle of people from these bots, even if you have that setting right. And that will pretty much wipe all of the bots out from wasting your ad and clicking on your ads. So in summary, basically add a negative keyword for all search terms that had USA in it, Apply that to all campaigns. Go into the advanced location settings on all campaigns. Make sure your settings are set up for targeting people in my location, not in and or for my location. And then also add India as a negative location target to all your campaigns to eliminate most, if not all, of the bot traffic internationally that's eating up your ad budget to some degree now, maybe into the double digits range for your company. So anyway, that's the first one. That stuff's so easy to do. Everybody should be able to do that. There's no reason to, unless you like wasting your money, have that one done for yourself. Now, getting into the stuff that's a little bit more labor intensive here, too, adding more keywords and running exact match. So if you're running a national company, it's difficult to sometimes just, so taking a step backwards, as I was talking about keyword match types before, you have exact match, keyword match type, phrase match, broad match. And that determines how general of, how liberal Google's going to get you somebody to have your ad show up for them based upon your keyword. Whether it has to be pretty much really close to the keyword that you're bidding on, or it could be somebody just typing in something, totally unrelated almost to that keyword. Have your ad show up for that, whether that ad will, and that person will be able to see your ad or not for that particular keyword in search. You want to run the tightest keyword matching as possible because that's going to get you the most consistent results. In some markets, you can't though because there's such a vast amount of different people searching different ways, thousands of different ways to search for your product or service, that you can't run exact match because you'll be cutting off too much of your potential demand of how potential customers and able to get them through the search engines through using your search ads. In a local context, most of the time you can usually just run exact match because there's not infinite ways for people to search for what you have, or at least most of the main ways that people are going to search is going to be less than 1,000. So you may start off now or have been running your keywords and phrase match. Well, you could go into your search terms report and then just all the main keywords that got searched more than once, use those as your new keywords and doing them all in exact match. And then once you start doing that, you won't have to have any more wild searches where people are looking for information or guides or jobs, clicking and wasting your budget anymore, because you're just running the keywords in exact match now. And so that should be your goal. For us, even if we have no experience in a niche, we're going to do all the research we can to find out all the variants, the few hundred different ways, the main ways that people are searching for that product or service locally, and we're going to run them all in exact match. Why? Because exact match, or should I say phrase match, is so liberal in the keyword matching now that it's highly wasteful for a local company most of the time. So we're just going to run exact match. In order to do that, you've got to have more than just a few keywords. Otherwise, you're not going to be eligible to show up for very many customers or potential clients in your local market. So we'll go and do the keyword research using Google Keyword Tool, SpyFu, and so forth, and find the 500 main variants of the ways people search for our stuff. And what you do to do that is you find the keyword and you find another keyword and you mix and match the different words in those keywords, and now you have a different keyword, and you try that a bunch of times, and then you set up a test campaign running those keywords to see if that keyword has enough search volume to be eligible to run, and if it does, then you build your campaign around that. That's the most efficient way to come up with the total list of keywords to bid on for your local business. But once you've done that extra work and actually did that work for yourself, you can run your stuff in just exact match, and you will basically almost have no waste if you go through the search terms report in terms of having to add negative keywords. Basically, it'll all be on point, and then your stuff will be very stable. So adding more keywords helps because you can run exact match. The other thing you'll have to do if you're going to run exact match that I would recommend is having the keywords in both city and non-city versions. So as you come up with your whole list of keywords, take your keywords and try adding your name of your city before and after the keyword, and then testing that in your test campaign that I said to set up to figure out if that keyword has enough search volume to be eligible to run. Because if a keyword isn't searched enough, as you have that campaign with that keyword in it, it'll say, sorry, search volume too low, and you can't run it, basically. And the reason why you do that is because if you want to do things right, and I'll get to that in the next step here, the next item on my list, have ads set up for every keyword so you can beat your competitors at their click-through rate specifically by a huge margin, which you will. And if you do that, and because the other people aren't doing it in your space, and what you're willing to do and they're not willing to do is what makes your stuff work, and theirs don't, or work very, very minimal compared to yours. So anyway, you take all your keywords and then you have to add your city name before it and after it, and maybe in the middle. And maybe you put in city name, and you try all these variations. And so that, because some people, when they're searching for a local plumber, they're going to search for plumbers or plumber near me, but they're also going to search for plumber Chicago, plumber in Chicago, Chicago plumbers. And if you don't have all the variants with the city names in it and you're running exact match, you will not get, generally speaking, the people that are typing in the city name with it. So you'll have to try all the variations and permutations of your keywords with the city name in the middle, before and after it, to have your total list in order to be able to do exact match and still get basically everybody you want to get, but without all the waste at the same time. So that's the basic premise of how we set up a campaign and do the keyword research, trying to run exact match because we want as much results as possible. We want the most stable results as possible. We don't want any clicks are so expensive anymore. It's hard enough to make money as is, but when you start having a bunch of wasted, people looking for information that we don't want triggering our ads, you risk not making money anymore. And with the stakes the way that it is, you have to spend thousands a month for your typical local company to do Google ads, and in that market that there's not a huge wide margin of error for sloppiness. At least it'll always work, but the more you can't be nearly as sloppy, we'll just say, as you could be or used to be. But anyway, that's a basic piece of advice for you to be able to have a profitable campaign and have it run efficiently, basically no matter, every time you set it up. 3, using more than one campaign. So going into, I gave you the basics behind doing the keywords and how to set that up and do the keyword research. Once you got all your keywords there, then you're going to go ahead and, like I was talking about before, you can set up an ad for every keyword, because that'll double to triple, usually double the click-through rate of your ad. And like I said at the start of the video, you're up against the other people that are there on Google. This isn't Yellow Pages, you're paying a flat rate and there you are. You have to be able to beat the other people that want to advertise for your same customers at the top of Google. Google prefers to promote the one that has the highest click-through rate and the highest conversion rate on the landing page, because that gets people to have a good experience and want to come back to Google and click on Google ads in the future, and so they'll make more money long term. They'll also be able to get more people because your ad's better, or they have better ads in general, to click on ads versus the organic, which also makes them more money. So they don't care about people who don't have good ads and good landing pages. They just don't. Sorry. So if you're going to make a bunch of money, you have no choice but to actually have the best ad and the best landing page, or at least be in the top 20% where all the money's made. That bottom 80%, that people make little to nothing. I know this. So that's why you have to, do what it takes to have the better ad, the better landing page, regardless of what it takes. And with the information, by the way, on this channel, it's all here. If you just follow the stuff I give you on this channel for free, and you did all this stuff, you would have the best campaign in your local space without question. It's just a matter of putting the labor in to do it. But as it pertains to, as I talk about the number of campaigns that you need, when I mentioned on other videos about how to set up a good local campaign, I always talk about having more than one campaign. And the reason for that is, generally speaking, at least if you're talking about stuff where you go to the customer and not the customer's coming to you. If the customer is coming to you, this isn't so much, it's not applicable. But for the people where you go to them, like a home service or whatever, you want a campaign for every city within the metro area that you cover. So if somebody's in Lincoln Park, which is near Chicago, and they're looking for a foundation repair company, going back to that previous example that I gave you earlier, if they type in Google foundation repair companies and they see your ad and it says foundation repair Chicago, that person's thinking, well, Lincoln Park is, 45 minutes away from Chicago, the actual metro area, metropolitan, incorporated area of the Chicago Metroplex area called Chicago. I don't know if they cover me or not, but there's somebody else has an ad that says, foundation repair Lincoln Park. What do you think they're going to click on? Obviously, they're looking to save time and get to what they want as quickly and easily and with as little effort as possible. And so if you're up against somebody that has that, you're screwed. Even though, that person that has the ad that says Lincoln Park, maybe they're not optimized for people that are actually in Chicago. So what you want to do to just absolutely crush your competition into a fine dust, you're going to make a list of all within the metro area that you cover, all the cities that are over 10K in population, and make a separate campaign for each one of them so that you can have a custom ad that says the name of the city that the user's in when they search. So if they're from, Naperville, Illinois, which is near Chicago, and they're searching for foundation repair, your ad pops up saying foundation repair Naperville, and your ad gets clicked on 2 to 3 times the rate of anybody else's ad because you've solved that problem for them of finding somebody who's good and local and competent to serve them with as little effort as possible in deciding. Then the other people did, and you get the spoils and the reward for doing that, because that's just a basic thing that consumers want and that local advertisers are too lazy to do. And so you can capitalize on it or you won't, but that will work every single time. Get you double the click-through rate, having the city name in there like that. You can basically, on top of that, making sure the keyword they type in, if they type in foundation repair, you want foundation repair in the ad, but you also want, if they type in crawl space inspection services, you don't want foundation repair company in the ad. So the magic formula is you have an ad that shows up for them that says basically what they typed in, crawl space inspection service, and then it says crawl space inspection service in Naperville if they're in Naperville and searching for that in Naperville. If they're in from another city, searching, that says that name of the city on the ad. And that gives them says, can you do it? Yes. Do you cover my area? Yes. Those are the 2 main things they're looking for when they make the search of deciding who to click on. And then the other thing is, can I trust you? And then that gets taken care of on the landing page with the reviews above the fold or before you scroll down on the landing page. I usually will put Google, Yelp, like Facebook, and like my ratings at each one of those before you have to scroll, so they know right away with as little effort as possible there that you actually have good reviews and just a call. And you've made it a very, very easy of a process for them to decide those main 3 things that they need to know to decide who, can and will they call you. You've done it better than anybody else, therefore you're going to do better than anybody else. You're going to get the most profit out of your ads, and given that Google, by the way, charges as much as they can get away with, and you actually have a more efficient funnel than anybody, you're basically guaranteed to make money, because if Google charges too much, nobody makes money, then nobody's going to stick around. So they charge enough so the top guys make a lot, and the people in the middle make a little, and most people don't make anything, as a way to encourage people to be the top guys. And it's just like the capitalistic system. The people who do the best, deliver the best product or service, wins the game. And this is what this is like. So as it pertains to going back to the initial topic at hand with more than one campaign, again, you set up a campaign for every city that's over 10K population within the metro area that you're covering, so that people can feel that, yes, you do actually cover their area and will go to your area specifically within that ad. Within that, you can make sure the landing page also says right away when they get to the landing page that if I'm from Naperville, the landing page will say Naperville on it. Because when somebody sees the ad, they go, yes, okay, they do Naperville, okay, great. They go to your landing page and they see Chicago, they're thinking, well, is that Naperville thing really true? You don't want them questioning anything, because that's always going to hurt your conversion rate. So you want it to say Naperville on your landing page. And so with that, you have a campaign for every city over 10K in population. You can, by the way, have one campaign that covers all other places under 10K as a catch-all. But respectively, you have your Naperville campaign. In your Naperville campaign, every keyword gets its own ad, so that when somebody searches for crawl space repair, you have an ad that says crawl space repair on it. And if they're in Naperville, it can say Naperville in the ad too. And then you have a dedicated landing page for that campaign and for that keyword. So if they are in Naperville and they look for crawl space repair or crawl space inspection, they'll go to your landing page. It'll say crawl space inspection in Naperville as well. So all the way through, they get exactly what they want with as little effort as possible. And with nobody else going to be able to do that or want to do that in your market, you'll automatically have something that's going to beat everybody and make good money with it. So you use more than one campaign because users fundamentally want you to use more than one campaign. It's not about like a nice to have thing. People are going to navigate to the person who makes it the easiest for them to decide who to do business with. And if you're going to do a campaign just for them in their little old, their city that's not the main city in your metro area, to make sure that they know that you do business in their area easier, then you're going to end up with a lot more money. And just to round all this off, the average person gets a click-through rate on their ad of about 3% from a local search campaign. You actually make sure that you have the keyword and the city name in the ad, you can get a click-through rate of 10, 12% a lot of times. That right there will make sure if you were paying 20 bucks a click, you can pay 7 bucks a click or 5 bucks a click now almost. Your mileage will vary, but that's the type of savings that you're looking for. And obviously if you're doing the same work and it's the same people, now you're making 3 times as much money than you were before just by having a campaign set up for each location in your metroplex that you're covering, and so that the keyword and the city name can be in the ad and the landing page, which you can do with a campaign for each city and having an ad for every keyword within each one of those campaigns and a landing page for each keyword from within each one of those campaigns. So a lot of it sounds like a lot of work, but once you set up one campaign, you can rubber stamp campaigns for each city relatively easy. Or you could just do what I do and get a data entry person to do it, because there's no reason why you can't you make a short video showing, okay, make this page 150 times, boom, done. Then you're done. Like, it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. But that's the formula if you want to be able to generally beat everybody in your local market. So with the keyword information I gave you and what I gave you about the campaigns, if you're not already doing better than everybody else in your market already, then you're in some weird market, and it's super cutthroat, and I'd be shocked already. Moving forward, 4, use an offer. So this is another thing that people don't really think about that run local businesses, but if they're a plumber, what do? They say, we offer plumbing services. And then they do that on the landing page, and then they're just hoping people call. We are the best local plumbing service company because we respect our customers and we have the best customer service, and nobody gives a shit. And so what you want to do is give something to the user that's going to titillate them a little bit. Of course, like I said, they want to know, can you do it? Do you cover their area? Can they trust you? I talked about already how to knock out each one of those things, so you'll get a super high click-through rate on your ad, and your landing page can get double-digit conversion rate on your landing page as well. You'll get an extra boost in how many people convert, or your conversion rate on your landing page there that convert from visitor to lead, either a phone call or a form fill. Or of course, if you're doing something else, you're doing, of course, you were selling some products through your website, but you also have a store and you're getting people to come into the store, you'll get more purchases through your website, more people in store that way, that you want to have an offer on there. And there's 3 basic ways to have an offer. An offer would be like saying, if you have a moving company saying, we'll give you free boxes. The average company isn't saying anything. So if side by side you compare your company versus the other company, and that one company is giving you free boxes, and because you've done your market research that most people don't have boxes, and they're thinking, shit, I got to go out and get boxes, or a lot of people's thinking about calling a moving company before they decided to get boxes lined up. This just made it easy to decide, even though you're not the cheapest price, who to go with. And it didn't take you basically any money to do that. That's not a really, really good offer, but that'll get you more performance than no offer. And so your goal is to come up with what's the most exciting offer I can come up with that I can afford, and which comes out and evens out in the numbers where basically getting more back from the increasing conversion rate than what it costs me to deliver this. So one of the ways that you come up with an offer is you just give an extra. Like gave you the example there with the cardboard boxes. You could basically say, we will give you a free steak dinner if you come in here and test drive a car. Now, again, people get very emotional about this, and it's still to this day at our PPC agency, we can't get people to be willing to do this stuff because they're thinking, well, what if they come in and get the steak and they don't want to drive, and so many people keep doing that, we go bankrupt. Most people, when they're searching for something already on Google, at least now what we're talking about, when we're talking about search ads, if they're searching for a new, Jeep in, Rockford, Connecticut, whatever, or let's say, or bigger city, let's just say Detroit, whatever, they're looking for a Jeep, and there's more than one Jeep dealership in town. You see there's multiple Jeep dealerships, and there's one ad that says, come test drive a Jeep here, we'll get a steak dinner. You've just now, with that one simple thing, eliminated all other options because they don't know anything else that's the difference between, all those other locations. But what more importantly than that, if they're already actively making the decision themselves to go to Google and search for a Jeep dealership, they're already knowing that they're going to be buying a car. So to add something that's going to get them to respond at a higher rate is good, not bad. Now, if you're going to run a billboard saying you would give a free steak to come and get a test drive, now that's a different story. Yes, that can generate a lot of shitty leads. But if they're already, as it comes to Google search, you give them an extra that gets us another 50% more of the people out of the people that are clicking. And again, there's only so much pie to get in our market. That's one big change in the profitability of our potential campaigns, just having that one little thing offered, and in which we can still easily factor out is there a profit margin on offering the steak? Okay, we offer the steak, gets us another 50% more people to come in. Steak costs this. Here's our average sale amount. Here's our profit margin. Additional profits are this from this. Cost of the steak. Okay, we're making 4 times back the cost of the steak every steak that gets offered. And then you just are very emotional about the decision and come up with something that is significant enough to get people's attention, or as I like to call it, titillated a little bit. And is it going to cost you so much that you aren't going to have profit from it at the end of the day from your sales? So anyway, that's an example of what you can do here. You would put the offer, if it's good, on the ad, not in the first or second headline, but it can be a part of the description, because the top part of the ad is dedicated to, again, like I said, can you do it? Do you cover my area? Can I trust you? If, basically you have the room. Crawl space repair, Naperville, in business since 1908. That would be, can you do it? Do you cover my area? Can I trust you? And then after you've done those things, which are the most important, come in or call and get an appointment this week and we'll give you a free steak dinner. Now you're going to get even more out of it, but you aren't doing it until those 3 important things are taken care of. That's very important to know. And respectively, you can put that in the lower part of your ad. You would put that more focus on it on the landing page. Of course, on the landing page, you still want them to know, can you do it? Do you cover their area? Can they trust you? But you can add try to think about, as you're making the landing page, you always are trying to figure out, what are they going to focus on first? What are they going to focus on second? What are they going to focus on third? And you want the things that they focus on first through the design and the layout and how things are arranged. The things that I said, can you do it? Do you cover my area? Can I trust you? And then fourth, the fourth thing you focus on would be that offer. Call this week and do it this week, which, by the way, the offer, a part of the reason why it gets more people to respond overall is it gets more of the procrastinators to respond. Because there's a lot of people that get to your page Even if they're searching for a roof, there's a lot of people who aren't going to call today. They were just doing a little bit of research before they called. They wrote down some numbers. If you say you're going to give them a free steak dinner if they call this week and get an appointment this week, the people that had the good intentions of coming back, a large percentage just aren't going to come back. That's why it's always better to close the sale sooner, as long as you're not being annoying, of course, as it pertains to things. But it'll get more of the people to act, given that there's a certain percentage of the people who hit your ad and landing page that are just there to procrastinate, and that was their intention from the start. So, but anyway, you get the general idea of the offer. Now, there's other, if you don't want to give something away, or you are extra ambitious here and you want to test a couple different offers, and you really like what the initial giveaway offered you in terms of an additional rise in profitability and leads and sales from what you're doing, you can try a secret, call for special pricing, call for special gift. Those are some other things that you can do. We did this in the plumbing space, call for special price. Worked very, very well. Double-digit increase in profitability from the campaign by doing that, putting it in both in the ad prominently and the landing page. You'll get, by the way, more out of it if you can say, here's your gift, and here's the amount of time you have to use it, because it builds in urgency and scarcity at the same time. So if you want to get extra credit out of this, you could say call for special price, special price ends, or special price June only, or special price ends in June. So they know, again, basically, ooh, they're titillating me a little bit. Special price, I wonder what it is. And then also, ooh, it's only good till June. I bet, I was not really intending on calling today because I had to talk to my husband, but I better call now. And you get the general idea here. So that's how you'll get the most out of your offer, adding the time, element to it. You can do a guarantee. We've had situations where we would offer a low price guarantee. Low price guarantee. If you find somebody else that offers something lower, we'll give you a gift card to Outback Steakhouse. And we could do that also both in the ad and the landing page. And that got a large, almost double the basically the profitability of the campaign right there along with that. So just with that one element tacked on. So anyway, with that one, so you get the general idea. You can come up with something there. There's other things you could try to get creative. You could do a contest. 1 in 100 chance to get a free car. Have something come in if you're like going back to the car dealership thing. Have some game that if you win the game, you get a free car or whatnot. And use that as like kind of the bait, if you will, to get them to click on your ad and then, to respond at a higher rate from your landing page. You could do something like that. So there's other different ways to do this. But anyway, adding an offer will almost always directly increase your numbers by a good margin. Obviously, the better the offer, the more it's going to increase. But stuff like I was talking about, it's routine to get 20, 30, 40, 50, upwards of 100% more profit out of a campaign just by tacking on a simple offer, and of which basically doesn't cost very much. The price guarantee one, if you say that we'll guarantee you the lowest price, as I'll mention, this is the last thing I'll mention about this, but basically what you'll find, as what we found, is basically nobody calls you on that. There's a reason why companies offer a low price guarantee, because nobody what the effect is, they got a low price because they're guaranteeing it. 1 in 20 will actually call you on it. And so if you have to give a freak steak dinner to every person who calls you and says you're not the lowest price, when you're not even the lowest price, maybe you're like basically in the middle, or maybe you're a little bit under like the average in terms of your pricing. Just by saying that, you're going to get twice as many people to buy from you, because particularly in markets where, if you're in a market, in other words, that pricing is a bigger issue, like in home loans, you want the best rate. If you're in that kind of market and offering the low price guarantee, this crushes it, because it gets the one thing that they're mainly concerned about taken care of in just one little quick statement that anybody can process quickly and understand quickly. And so with that, you can use that, and at the end of the day, even though you're not the lowest price, you can get a doubling in your campaign performance just by using that one little tool, and basically have to offer the steak dinner to almost nobody you sell to. Basically nobody. So that's a cool little hack you can add to what you're doing as well. And just how about going up and doing things for a local business such as yours. So anyway, that's number 4. Now, number 5, the last thing I'll talk about here is revenue tracking. So the bigger the company we're dealing with, the more we usually do revenue tracking and bring that in for lead generation businesses. So obviously your local business, almost every one of you guys are just doing lead generation. You're generating a call or a form fill, or maybe getting somebody in store, right? Or a combination, obviously, of all 3. But with that, you could set up your tracking, and half of the local companies out there, by the way, won't even set up their tracking to track if a lead's coming in. The other half, or less than half, depending on market, will basically try to set up the tracking. So if somebody fills out a form or calls, and you can do tracking if somebody comes in your store through the store tracking through Google Ads. If you're curious, you can do that. That's an extra added tip. But anyway, you could track that stuff, and less than half of the people you're competing with will do that. But even with that information, well, it's a heck of a lot better than nothing. It's still not very much as compared to if you knew the people who called, who bought, because there's a huge disparity between one type of person who searches for one type of keyword and another type of keyword in terms of the average revenue per lead and average revenue per click on one keyword versus another keyword in a local market. You may find that somebody, and an obvious example of this would be, if you have a broken toilet and you're a plumber and a broken pipe, the amount of revenue you're going to get from somebody searching for a broken pipe is a lot higher. But you don't have to, figure things out, just by, which you could go into your books and you could identify what you're willing to pay for a lead on one lead type, one service type versus another. But there's a way to do tracking so that when somebody becomes a lead, you can track if the lead becomes a sale and at what rate they become a sale. And you can go about doing things so that you basically you're figuring out what you're willing to pay for a lead that's going to get you, always get you a profit, and then dial in your campaigns to deliver as many leads as you can at that certain price per lead, which gets you the most maximum profit out of your campaigns because you're able to take things to the limit. So in other words, going back to the plumbing example, yes, you already know as a business owner, fixing a broken pipe, that usually generates you more revenue. But a lead obviously is going to cost more because those keywords are more competitive. The closing rate on those leads are going to be different than a broken toilet. And the jobs that come from Google Ads certainly might not be the average jobs that you get from other broken pipe leads from other sources in your business that you already get broken pipe leads from anyway. So your goal should be, if it were my business, I'm 110% doing this. I'm tracking the leads to a sale. And when there's a sale, I'm going to plug that data back into my Google Ads account, which is done through a thing called offline conversion tracking. And then I'm going to see exactly what the ratio of revenue to ad spend is for a particular keyword, and then adjusting my bid on that keyword or on each keyword to what is going to generate me the level of ROI that I want for the account. So each keyword is going to generate a different size of job and a different close rates on the job. All I want to know is, what is the margins from this business and from Google Ads that I need to be profitable and acceptable to my business that I want to work for? If I know I want an $8 return for every $1 I spend on ads, with the offline conversion tracking process and through tracking sales, leads all the way to a sale, I could if I can pipe my revenue that I get from those leads back into my ad account, I can see exactly, should I be doing more of a keyword or less of a keyword based upon if the return that I have already on that keyword is either above 800% or below 800%. And the same thing carries over to the device that the user's on, time of the day that the user's searching, day of the week they're searching, age that they're searching, gender of the person, income of the person, which you can also do through Google Ads, and so on and so on and so on. This can go as far as you want through the audience observations through Google Ads. You can look into that if you want, but basically you can get more out of your account knowing and having further awareness of where the big jobs are coming from, or where the big customers or where the big sales are coming from. And then you can triple, quadruple, 10x down on those opportunities of certain keywords, certain devices that people are on, certain age brackets that people are from, or that age brackets in general, people searching. And you'll get more out of the pie available to you in your local market, having that extra level of awareness and data to exploit your opportunity there done through Google Ads. Effectively, if you're already spending all this time and money to do all the stuff I said here and not actually going the last step of plugging your sales data back into your account so you can actually know that you should be spending $4 a click on desktop versus $1, because you're going to get 3 times as many sales doing that. And given that the desktop people, when they search, they're already delivering you double the return that you're already looking for in terms of an ROI, then you're just going to leave 2/3 of the total possible profit on the table for your business, not having that level of awareness into your campaigns. So, of course, there's a bunch of waste in your account where you're saying, oh, these leads are cheap. Of course, they're searching for these keywords. The leads are cheap. Broken pipe leads are expensive, but people that have a clogged toilet, the leads are only $15. But you realize when people call for a broken toilet, because you're not the ones maybe handling the calls, your salesperson is, or your receptionist is, that the people calling about the broken toilet, a lot of times are asking for a price and they just want the lowest price. And even though the leads are cheap, a bunch of those calls just never turn into a sale, and it's not worth anything. And it's easy to lose track of what you're doing with Google Ads without that revenue piece inside your account to make quality decisions on. It really, even myself, I would not just be flying by the seat of my pants. I would absolutely need to know of what all those sub metrics inside my account, where the sales are coming from, so I know what to continue to spend my money on long term and what not to. Half the value of what you're spending your money on with Google Ads and Bing Ads similarly, because both have the same kind of tracking, sales tracking, offline sales tracking, and so forth, is what works versus what doesn't work. Because with enough data that tells you what works and doesn't work, you're going to make a ton of money. It's just a matter of when. You get enough data, you just cut out the part that doesn't work and get you the level of return you want. You've got the part that does, and that part that does delivers for years and years and years generally after you've figured out just the parts of the account that generally work. Markets change, and I'm not saying that, but generally speaking, most of our clients, once a search campaign's profitable, it'll be profitable for the next 10 years with slight revisions and management of that campaign, but you get the general idea. If you want to learn how to do offline conversion tracking to track leads into a sale and taking the sales revenue that you got from that sale, plugging it back into your account so you can see how much the sales revenue was that a certain keyword collected for you over time, and what a certain device collected for you over time, and a certain income demographic that collected for you over time, you could search on my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog and go to my article about offline conversion tracking. I made the best possible article regarding, so-called dumbing that down for the novice. There's a lot of crappy articles that are too technical or not technical enough. That gives you the core information that explains how it works, how to do it. And basically, there is, of course, a lot of other good information out there, but it's not rocket science. If you have call tracking using a call program like CallRail, and you're tracking your contact forms coming in, it's just an extra little step to be able to do the sales tracking. All you got to be able to do is carry something called a GCL-ID code or Microsoft Click ID code if you're talking about Bing. Collect that when somebody turns into a lead through the call tracking or when they fill out the contact form, and then once a month exporting all of the customers you have from your billing system, not just from Google Ads, but all your customers, matching the customers up with CallRail and listening to the call recordings on CallRail to find when somebody announces who they are on the call, and then matching that up with your customer list and the name that's on there you can see which call originally came in that generated that sale. And then with that, next to the call is that little GCLID code that you need. Once you have that code, you feed that code back to Google through their upload, their offline conversion upload menu. And then once they have that code, they know what device that person was on, what keyword they typed in, what ad they clicked on and on and on and on for you. You just got to have that code. They got to know and you give them back the codes of the sales that you got. And through the contact forms, you add what is called a hidden form field, so that code gets captured when somebody fills out a form every time. If they're from Google Ads, it captures the little code. The code's actually in the URL, because you'll notice if you click on a Google ad, the URL automatically updates. It's not just your landing page showing when you get to your landing page. There's a bunch of code there. And that code, part of that is the code that you need to capture, so that later on when you get a sale, you can basically find that code that was related to that sale and then give that back to Google. So anyway, that's the short of it. If you want more information, you can read my article on my site or just ask questions here through the comment section and I'll help you out. But that's a big thing long term to be able to have that data. And it's going to take you a while to collect enough quality data. So a lot of people don't do it because it's not going to be instant gratification. But I promise you, 2-3 years from now, you've spent 50, 100 grand on ads and you haven't gotten the full value from what you're spending because you weren't collecting the data that tells you where all the revenue came from. You're going to feel disappointed, because if you had all that data, to be able to triple your profits from your campaign overnight by just start shutting off the parts that didn't deliver any revenue, is it going to be there? And you're going to have to spend another 2-3 years waiting for that if you set up the conversion tracking, the offline sales conversion tracking then. The last thing I'll say about this, by the way, you can actually, if you don't know how much you only have 90 days to track to see if somebody's going to purchase there. If they're not going to purchase within 90 days, you can track to see if the lead was quality and score the lead, and you can plug that lead score back into your account. So you can at least optimize for higher quality leads on an ongoing basis versus whether a lead was produced or not, because generally speaking, the cheapest leads aren't the best quality leads. In fact, the cheapest leads are usually the poorest quality leads because it's a market system. It's a bidding system. People pay less for the keywords they don't want, and therefore, naturally, you're going to have a skewing of, the cheapest leads being the lesser quality leads. And the most expensive leads, you got to know yes, it's probably better, but it's so much easier when you just know this lead, yes, it's 3 times more expensive, but this is how much sales it brought in, and then knowing if you should go with that keyword more or less or at all. Just trust me on that. Anyway, that is everything that I wanted to share with you today about tips. If you do this stuff on your campaign, you're going to make a bunch of money with your Google ads. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel. If you like the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like and thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel, as I have a ton of different videos on this channel where I reveal different working money-making PPC strategies that we use for our clients here and give them to you all on this channel, as well as other stuff that doesn't work. I also share with you on this channel, so you can learn from our millions of dollars of ad expense that we spend through our clients testing different things, so you don't have to test anything out for yourself essentially. So yeah, it's the best channel about PPC strategy and money making strategies tied to PPC that I know of on YouTube, so and that's why I made the channel. Apart from that, I mentioned there's a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog where I've personally written information there and cover different strategies and campaigns where I show how I set up my campaigns here, basically to guarantee our clients results on their campaigns, since we have to do that at our agency. If you want to learn on a more step-by-step basis on how to set up some things like that, different campaigns and such, you can find great information there as well. Whereas on this channel itself, we go over the more high-level concepts. There's more detail there on how to do things for yourself there, tangibly more so. Even though this channel does provide the how-to go out and have actionable, to take action, and it's actionable advice to use. So I'll wrap it up with that. Hope you enjoyed, like I said, and I hope to see you on my next video that comes out in another day or two with another great money-making PPC strategy on it.